Hey chat, how we all doing today? I will be honest, my day has been a bit rough. So much so that I downed my probiotic like a shot, despite not having the ability to do so normally, because that is not something I've ever practiced. I've never been to a party where it was necessary for me to do so. So that's how my day is going. uh I'm just reading something that Foxy's sending me at the moment. Alright, so market stall related stuff today. We had we were doing these and I had just finished fixing up the normals on this thing. So now this one, just plug that into there. Alright, I don't have the small plank cavity yet, right? It's only the second one? Yeah. So new image, small plank cavity 1. 2048, and there we go. So now, wait, why is the excuse? Did I not save that? Oh, unfortunate. Okay, I didn't save the normals when I was doing that last time. Okay, that's a bit obnoxious, but I can fix that. So, small plank, low poly. So this isn't the thing, is it? Oh. So if I go into here, okay. So I need to Alt-G that. That is not the same. What have I done? So this is the one that's broken. Wait, where's this one? Oh wait, I forgot. Okay, so hide that. That is not the correct one. So grab these two. Okay, yeah. I guess I didn't save the normals last time, which was a bit stupid of me, but sometimes stuff happens. The reason why it happens is because one is a dumbass. Okay, so diffuse. And I should just be able to... Oh wait, I need to do that first. Get rid of the low poly for just a moment here while I plug this back in. And that has the same settings as before, so I'm not too concerned by that. Alright, cool. And send it, I think. Water. Okay, so now that should be working as intended. Yep. Okay, so this time, need to remember to save this. Hey Foxy, how you... Oh, I'd say how you doing, but I already know that. Alright, save the image. Would you believe it, Foxy? I forgot to save the cavity image, so whenever I plugged this in, it just broke everything. Whoopsies. Yeah, like, I'm just reading through what you sent me. That's really strange, actually. I wonder if they went for just the valuable item in the game as opposed to everything else. It seems really targeted, but Not much you can do about it now. So, yeah, that's all they took. That's really strange considering the fact that you had money on that account too. Okay, so that doesn't need to be here anymore. And then this can be hidden. So now I've got... Oh, one thing I need to add to that? Yeah, sure. So we've got that one there and this blank high poly here. So yeah, that should be fine. So now if I grab these two, I should just be able to bake immediately. Because that's just blank cavity one. Alright, now if I hide the high poly now. Something strange is going on there. When I got the alt situated, I checked my email again and noticed that there were 2 attempts on my other alt corrupted account and my main. What the hell? He really went for the full send, huh? Cheeky bitch. But I quickly changed those immediately once I saw them. Yeah. Wild that they can do that just through an account, though. Oh, wait, I think I had this set to... Yeah, I had this set to multiply because dark can cause weird green spots on it. Joined the game on main and they didn't take anything from that, which means they didn't get into it, thankfully. That's good. What a cheeky little shithead. Okay, that's strange. It's like some weird... Although that should be fine, I think. What I do need to do is I need to set the roughness up to 0.8 for these. Just to make sure they're not too shiny. There we go, now that looks like actual wood. I do need to... Probably need to rotate this one, right? I can actually probably just set to generated. It would definitely not work, that's for sure. The hell happened? Oh, wait, that's right, because of the UVs. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to... Haven't checked the other alt, though. I was just about to do that. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Probably report him to Roblox, too, because if he's done it to you, he's probably done it to, like, several other people. So, maybe I want to plug the generated into here instead. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Okay, so we've got these now. So I'll grab both of these and move them up to the market stalls. Yeah, but like whenever somebody starts, like I don't trust free stuff in general. So like it'd be less of an issue for me, but I can understand why you would want to try that at least. Okay, so what is going on with this one? Like, the discrepancy between these two are quite high. It is plugged incorrectly. It's strange. I wonder why it would... It's not clamped, is it? It is the same clamp. I'm gonna put this back and see if I can fix this. So, high poly to low poly. And this is just the regular small plank here. Okay. So if I hide this and turn this on, okay, here we go. It just makes no damn sense to me as to why they would take that one dragon, nothing else, because you would think that they would see all the other good dragons and even the over 1 million coins and take that as well, but nope. So it was like really specifically targeted too, no less. That's very unfortunate. Sounds like my aunt is fighting with the dog. She apparently just went directly out the back from the sounds of it. Thinking, yeah, 0.44 should be enough. Because even with the multiplication, it should definitely do what I want it to. And then plug that directly in. And make sure that one's selected before baking. Yeah, that's like really bizarre. Maybe I'm going to take a guess and say that you managed to password block him before he managed to get anything else. I didn't even have that dragon equipped when I was with him either. I had one of the basic starter dragons. Can people see your inventory in DA? I didn't think they could. It's like really strange, unless it's like a client or something. No, they can't. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Like, it sounds really bizarre for them to be able to do it, but if he has like a client or something that allows him to do it, that would make more sense. At least to me, anyway. Okay, so... yeah... oh, good grief. Can you just move? I don't know, the whole thing's just fucked up. Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, if guys accessing accounts illegally like that, you should definitely be contacting Roblox themselves about it. Y? X? There we go. Although, mind you, the corner seems a bit weird like that. Okay, cool. So, grab these two. Yeah, and then just move these along. The guy had over 2,000 subs, by the way. Yeah, like... if he has over 2,000, I'd want to say he probably has like tens of people he's done that to. Okay, so that actually automatically switches their positions, which is quite nice. Although, I will switch the position of these two. And that. Should be able to just, yeah, delete that. And that's actually more or less bang on what I wanted it to be, so that's pretty helpful. So I'm just gonna grab random ones here. I think I'll just remove that one. Ah, heck, I have pics of the accounts if you're interested in helping me figure out how to get the guy reported after stream, of course. Yeah, sure thing. So, set origin to Jumptree. So now I just have to move these about. God, it is pelting down out there. I'll just go ahead and send them to you so I don't forget. Yeah, sure thing. Take your time. In fact, I'm actually just gonna remove these ones. And just set the origins of these first and then deal with them from there. Oh, chat. So, funny thing that I found earlier today, and by that I mean YouTube recommended it to me. So, I'm assuming a lot of you are familiar with Fat Rat, right? Like the music creator. Apparently, he has a track that, I believe it's called Honk or something like that. And apparently, he can't make a video for it because it doesn't fit into the lore of the music series. So he's like, hey, everyone should just, like, make videos based on what honk means to them. And I'm just like, for a brief moment, I was like, huh, I wonder if I should, like, make a 3D animated video for it. Like, for a brief moment, the thought was there. I love the song Fly Away by that guy, but fair enough. It touches my heart. Fair enough. Let's see. But yeah, for like a brief moment there, I was just like, huh, I wonder what would happen if like... Because the thought that I had, and I might make this into an actual animation later, was I was gonna... Hang on. I was in such a rush to get to stream today that I didn't even turn my drawing tablet on, which I am probably going to need later anyway. Send the pics, by the way? Yeah, thank you. I shall have an examine of them after stream. So, I listened to the song. Ah, crap. What's happening here? Oh, I hate when it does this. Excuse me for a second, chat, while I just remove the annoyance. Why is there just stuff here? Go away. And I want to set the annotation tool to lock. Okay, yep. What's the song again? It's called Honk. Bro! Oh, wait, I forgot Shift S and Cursor Award Origin. I forgot that this was a thing. Why is this a feature? Okay, so the song's called Honk. Now, the idea that I had, because it's a funk song. So, the idea that I had, after listening to it, was a scene in a cave where you'd have, like, two Minecraft characters. And they're in minecarts. Just straight up having a sword fight. Like, if you listen to the song, you'll sort of get it, the idea. But, like, the idea was, like, for a brief few seconds, these two would just be having a sword fight. Just to the beat of the song. So that was the original thought that I had, but I'm not entirely certain that my animation capabilities are up to snuff when it comes to something like that. Is the only issue. But yeah, that was the thought that I had anyway. Now, not D, Y. I do need to set this to individual, I think, for this one. And all of these actually need to be placed onto the... Where is it? Nice. For some reason, some of them are more... Well, it's not even out of line, so to speak. It's just the origin positions are really weird. So even if I wanted to do something about it, I can't really. Wait, I might be thinking of a different songwriter. Oops. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of them do sound very similar if you're from that period of music. Oh. So I don't blame you for thinking that, but... Yeah, like, for a brief moment there, like... Hang on, I'll find the video. It's... Yeah, the Fat Rat Honk. And in parentheses, in like square brackets, it says video file missing. But yeah, if you look at it, he just goes on to explain how, like, he can't really make a video for it because it doesn't fit into any of the lore on the channel. So he's getting everyone else to do it instead, which is fair. And... Oh, never mind, it's the same guy. Foxy, please, for love of goodness, make up your mind as to which one it is, yeah? Alright, now... I can set this down to be like 0.88, and that would give more or less similar coloration. What do we think, chat? Do we like the look of this? I actually should probably rotate some of these. Let's see. Along individual origins, please. Oh, Mao. I am concerned for your mental well-being, Foxy. That. Here, I'll send you the song I was talking about and delete it right after you see it. Okay, bet. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I've seen that one before. What do you think, chat? Does this appropriately look like the startings of a market stall? All I have to do is just... Yes? Okay, cool. So... Looks beautiful. Cool. Duplicate tab, and we want... Wooden market stall. So now we just really need a countertop, and I'm thinking maybe something more along flat plywood lines. Because, like, it's all well and good to make them all planks, but I feel as though it would be a bit better and make more sense if it's just, like, a flat top. Although it does seem like this one's made of planks and then varnished over. Otherwise, like, that's flat wood. Those are planks. I know there are such things as having, like, I wouldn't say marble in the traditional sense, but like a plastic top to it is not out of the question. Or metal. In some cases, metal can work. I'm gonna hop onto the corrupted alt to check things. I'll be right back. Yeah, good idea. Otherwise, I can get away with putting cloth over top, maybe? But the only issue inherent with that is that we're still continuing with the poles on the edges, of course. But I could have a bit of cloth going down over the front, too. Might do that. So, I'm going to go into edit mode for this thing. I'm going to duplicate this. P selection. Rename this market stall countertop. I'm going to scale this up just a smidge. Actually, I just want to scale it. I'll give this a wooden texture first. Do I have, like, just a spare wood texture? You know, this one will work for the second while I'm just fixing things up. Okay. Like, probably 5 for this. Median. Okay, yeah, I called that perfectly. Nothing missing. Okay, so it was just, for all intents and purposes, the fact that that happened to you and it was only one casualty is actually a good thing. And it's not great that you got hacked in that, but of all the things, like, only having one get removed is probably the best that could have happened there. They literally only took one thing from my main alt and wanted to scare me by trying to log into my other 2 accounts. Yeah, I'd probably... A good idea would just be to keep an eye on things for the next couple of days, just to make sure. And it worked, yeah. My advice to you would just be keep an eye on things for the next couple of days, just to make sure that nothing else goes wrong. Put that upside down. Okay, cool. Now we should be able to just plonk this down on top. I'll give this a solidify. Just give it... How much do we want here? I don't want to make it extremely thick. Apply the scale to make sure. So that's 2 centimeters. I'm thinking maybe 4, double that? Yeah, that seems about right. And I'm going to set this to be 0 and then even thickness should be fine. Yeah. So apply that. And I want to just scale this up slightly. More specifically, I actually probably just want to... Yeah. And then if I do this funny little trick, so if I cursor to selected, and I go to the 3D cursor for this, I can transform... Blood pressure was not even joking, I was legit going to vomit when it was happening because of how much I was panicking and raging over how much of a fucking dumbass I was. Blood pressure was through the roof. Yeah. Honestly, shit happens. All you can do is just learn from it and move on. Okay, so that hangs over the edge, and I'm not too fond of that, so I'm just going to scale that in the X. Actually, it's scale on the Y. Alright, so that should be good. But yeah, like you said, it's a good thing it was just that one dragon, nothing else. Yeah, I wouldn't say that you lucked out, but like, for all intents and purposes, you kind of did, actually. So, that's not too bad thus far. I should probably set the origin to geometry. I'm going to just try something briefly, chat. And I just know for a fact my computer's going to have a shit fit over me doing this, but whatever. I think probably around about there. So... Control 6, I want to say? Oh wait, I might still be in the mode. Control 5? Yeah, here we go. Simple. And then apply that. So now we should have... Yeah. Okay, cool. So, who here knows about physics simulations? I may be highly disappointed in the loss of it since I really loved its colours and such, but honestly I kind of take it as a sign that I grow attached to digital creatures too much. Yeah, mood. Shout out to the time I had a panic attack because I almost lost my shiny Palkia because Pokemon BDSP decided to just break upon itself. Okay, so this needs to be a collision. And I want the... Yeah, thickness outer is fine. So now, we set up cloth. Quality steps is fine. Dampening. Eternal springs is not required here. I'm looking for... Okay, let's give this a swing first. Alright, cross your fingers and pray for my computer, chat, because it is not going to enjoy this. To be fair, those things are hell to get, so that's a very valid reason to have a panic attack over. I mean, understandable. Okay, there it is. Yep. Shinies take luck and dedication to get. Yeah, you know what the fun part is? I caught that thing in a Premier Ball by accident. I chucked it at it as a bit, and then decided, you know what? I could do something extremely funny, and yeah, here we are, I guess. Okay, so the collision on this is way too high. Physics. Damn, lol. Yeah, like, no kidding. I was wasting turns to throw timer balls. And then, like, that happened, so... Soft body and cloth. This is a collision. Dampening... dampening, and, I only use my soft bodies. Let's change this to 0.001. Okay, let's, give this a swing now. It is still way too high. He really wanted you to take him with you, huh? Yeah, to be fair, out of the creation trio, Polka is my favorite. I mean, he might look like a giant penis dragon, but he's my giant penis dragon, so, like, what am I gonna do? Say no? Shear bending, compression, collisions. Here we go. Here we go. This is why it was being weirdly jank. Okay, now I need to make sure that self-collisions are enabled too. Okay, Blender does not like simulating self-collisions, I've just remembered. And yet somehow it is doing that. Now, why would it be doing that? Okay, so there's probably not enough... No, there's definitely enough geometry. Hang on, I'll just... Where is... Here it is. Wireframe. There. Now I should see it quite easily. Yeah, so for whatever reason, the collisions has decided that it doesn't really want to play ball. Soft body and cloth. Now back to that song I heard. It honestly, it sounds like a fun idea for an animation. Yeah, it really does. But I'm not exactly confident enough in my abilities to animate in order to do that. Like, I can certainly try. It would just drive me batshit insane, you know? Object collisions, yes. Impulse clamping, collision collection. Yeah, there's like nothing else I can do with this, really. Actually, there is one thing I can do. Okay, so that's probably as bad as good as I'm going to get. So I'll keep face orientation on, turn on wireframe. So I can shade smooth on this. And the fun thing you can do with physics objects is if you want to apply the current position of like your cloth or your soft body, what you can do is you can actually set it to mesh. And then now that stays put, and I can just lower this to however much I need. And all of a sudden, we have cloth. And I can remove the collision from this. I don't need this any longer. Voila, cloth. Now what I can do is just grab this. Actually, what I can do, I'm gonna go into here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab all of these. And these ones as well, probably, should be sufficient. Grab them by face. And then... what's a better way to do this? There's like no good ways to do these, but that's fine. Actually, would doing this be faster? Yeah, probably. My entire goal is to just make all of this into one face. Huh, I just realized I didn't take any of my potions either. Yeah, so they really just went in there for the one, huh? Unless you were that fast off the mark that you managed to block them from getting anything else, in which case that's impressive. So Control X, and that dissolves that. Over the side here. Control X to dissolve that. So now all of this is here. Manage by distance, make sure I don't have anything additional here. And voila, tablecloth. That is only like, what, 7 faces? It looks just fine too. Look at that. I mean, they literally attempted to log in more than 100 times, which is literally the most bizarre thing ever. Now, how it didn't lock them out after trying a certain number of tries, but I guess they eventually just guessed the right verification code and got in somehow just as I went to change the password. Yeah, that's... They probably, botted it, if I had to take a guess. You think companies would look and see that there was an account having access attempts happen every like X amount of seconds, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should like lock this down until we can figure out what's going on. You know, that would probably be a good idea. But no, companies for whatever reason just don't do that. So now just thin this out a bit. Probably thicker than it needs to be for a sheet, but hey, it works. 143 attempts to be exact. Yeah, that's just way too many attempts, to be honest. So I'm thinking just like a classic stripe pattern, probably. So how would one do stripes? Red stall. So if I had to take a guess, it'd probably be... I want to say brick. I'm going to try brick. Make sure I control T on that. And then... Okay, so if I set the squash ridiculously high, it seems to work. Okay, there we go. For whatever reason, this blacks out the front though. I'm not too fond of that. If I hide this, okay, there's like some weird thing going on there. Yeah, I don't know why this thing is so upset about the idea of me doing this. Is it because... Oh, it might be because of the mortar. Yeah, there we go. It was because of the mortar size, chat. Now, if I set the bias to... So I want this to be consistent, right? So the idea is to like set to red and white. But like, I don't want there to be... Like, I want the bias to stay actually in the middle. So if I set it to like 0... Stop breaking my number lock keyboard. It's an interesting pattern for sure, but I don't enjoy the fact that it doesn't stay consistent. So the frequency changes the way that it looks. There's got to be some way to make this more consistent. What other textures do I have access to? Oh, wait, I'm dumb. You don't use brick texture for this. Use wave. Wave probably along Y? Yeah. And bands is correct. I want the bands to be of similar thickness. Unless I use rings. Rings really doesn't like being used, huh? Certainly provides some interesting looks, but that's not what I'm looking for here. Maybe triangle? Although triangle's generally too soft, isn't it? Just checked where it shows they attempted the login. It says the Philippines. That's a new one. I don't normally think that Philippines is involved in these, so probably not a regular one, I don't think. Yeah, it would probably have to be wave texture. Like, I want the thickness of this to be decent, is the only thing. You wouldn't think it would be this difficult to make a texture like this, huh, chat? What I can do... There we go. So, probably -4. Sorry. -0.4, rather. There we go. Now it's working correctly. And then we add ramp into this. We set this up to be red. Say, like, a nice bright-ish red. Now I can just adjust the thickness of these by adjusting the value here. The only thing is, like, I want this to be fairly close together. So, like, I probably want this to be 0.5, and then this one here to be... What about 0.33? I can say 0.4 on this. Alright, there we go, chat. Finally got the setup level for. Just need to tweak some values and we should be just about ready to go. 0.27 maybe? I do want this to be relatively shiny, so 0.65. What do we think, chat? Do I think I've nailed the look of this? I think I have. Huh, I also just realized that Roblox sent me an email for a new login for Alt when they were hacking into it, but didn't send me that message for the corrupted account, my main account. What the fuck, Roblox? That might be because they didn't access the main and the Alt, like the other Alt. I think they only send it if it's a successful login. Okay, so that should be good. Oh, what the hell happened here? Oh, god damn it. Did I forget to save the image? Did I forget? I think I forgot, chat. Damn it, okay. So... Alt-D. Alt-G. Alright, chat, just gonna quickly fix this. It's because I wasn't actually on those accounts like I was the Alt. Yeah, it could be the case too. Or it could be the fact that the Alts weren't in the Roblox group, I'd have to guess. So, alright, time to do this for like the third time. Stupid me forgetting that this is a thing that I need to fix. Always, chat, always make sure that you save your images when you go to bake stuff. Because my goodness, am I dumb. Okay, unplug that. So, if I bake this down again... Okay. Now, save this before I forget, like a dipshit. Okay, now I can delete this because this is just me fixing it up. Oh. Okay, there we go. Now it's fixed. So, I can actually just quickly zoom to this. Oh, that looks decent so far. I don't know, it's just weird how they even figured out I had the corrupted one, unless it's because they looked at my friends list on the Alt and saw them on there. But if that's the case, you would think they would try it on the other two accounts but that I have, but they didn't, only the Foxy ones. It might be like a separation thing, like they might have seen... Actually, I need to check. Like, I haven't gotten any information, like, pinging the fact that I was, like, harassed or anything. So, I don't know, maybe they only did it based around, like, the usernames, perhaps, would be my best guess. Alright, I'm gonna give this some texture. So, probably, like, a blanket, right? Probably, yeah. So, probably pick picnic blanket texture. Because I know that picnic blanket fabric tends to be quite thin. Also, there's like these tartan blanket type things. And that could work, actually. It might be my best way to figure out. That looks to be a dotted texture almost. So I'm thinking unrandomized noise texture, perhaps? And I want to add a bump to this. Control Shift left click. Alright, now. Anyway, I'll stop thinking on it now since the damage has already been done. Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna snap this to UV, I think. Yeah. So, distortion. Doesn't matter. Was it noise that I used or was it a different one? Might have been magic. Oh, no, it wouldn't have been magic, actually. I can use magic, but... Is it Vor Annoy? I really shouldn't just say just Voronoi. I should be saying Voronoi and not Vor for obvious reasons. Like, that's a bit silly of me. Okay, maybe I can get away with this one. So if I... Okay, normalize doesn't really do anything. So, like, probably 150 for this one. So, I want to invert this. That's outwards. I want the strength to be all the way down. I really don't want this to be too blatantly obvious. 0.04. Okay, so now if I go back into this... Okay, it's a start. But maybe I want the scale of this to be 250 perhaps? The only problem is it doesn't stay cubic, which is what I really want. Because if you look at it like really closely, you can see they're all elongated. Okay, yeah. Setting it to object seems to be the better choice here. Okay, I think that works, chat. What do we think? It gives just that tiniest bit more texture to the object. The only thing it doesn't really have is like tassels or anything of that type of texture, but I don't think it's necessary in this case. Like, if I was gonna do the top of it, I would probably maybe tassel it, but at that point it just seems a bit counterintuitive. Because a lot of these don't have... So, like, when I say tassels, I mean, like, this cut-out bumped edge on the edge of these. So, like, a lot of them have, like, triangular or rounded. But there are some cases where they don't have that, like this one here, like these are all pinned to the frame of the market stand. And also I believe this one, yeah, this one has like a bit hanging off the edge, but it's not explicitly cut. This one's cut. So I suppose it's just like whatever I feel like in this case. Although the consensus tends to be, unless it's straight up pinned to a frame, more often than not it's going to be trimmed. But I think I'll keep it trimless for the time being. Alright, let's bring this back. Now, poles. Poles. These seem to be generally just painted over. Otherwise, I could make them thicker. Actually, I could just make them metal. In fact, I might even just make them straight metal for the sake of my sanity. I'll make this entire framework then metallic. So, delete that because I no longer need it. Oh wait, I also need to remember to... There we go. Need to remember to set the solidify back up. Now these, I just want to edit them a tiny bit. Is this mirrored? Okay, it's not. Time and place playlist. Do you think now is the time for this particular song? Do you really think that now is the necessary time for this specific song? Can't believe I'm reprimanding a playlist of all things. Ooh, okay. I didn't even realize that there was a thing that was an issue. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to move these ones forward a bit. So, G and X. And same with these ones. Well, do I want to move these ones? That's the real question. No, I don't think it's necessary to move those ones. I think it's just these back ones that I need to move. Okay, so now I want to set this to metal. I'm going to say grey metal beam. Cool, so we've got that. Now, I don't think this here will be as much of a concern because I am going to be using another cloth sim to get this one to work. So, Shift A, plane. Oh. Scale around medium. Actually, I'll just move this into position first. So, scale X. And then scale the Y. And then it should be enough, I hope. So, apply the scale on this, Control 5. up it to 6. And then apply that. So now we should have a whole bunch of faces on this thing, which is fine. Now I need to add a physics to this one. And make sure that the settings are fine. I'm going to give this a friction of 10. Not because it's necessary, but just because I want to make sure this one here doesn't slide off. So, collisions 0.0. Okay, so now let's hit the space bar on this thing. I should be good to go. I say hit the space bar. Space bar is the correct. Ooh, what's happened here? Oh, interesting. What has gone wrong that would cause that? It's probably not the slant. Raise that above physics. It might be because of the friction, actually. I'm gonna fix that and see if that fixes anything. Now, why would it be dropping through that? It's not, like, feasible or anything as far as I know. Nah, bro, they got an NVIDIA graphics card theme for dragons on the Google Doc for popular and rare player-made themes? What? What do you mean an NVIDIA graphics card dragon theme? Well, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised given they have a literal helicopter, so... Dampening. Okay, I'm gonna give this slightly more, actually. Okay, that definitely did not work. So I know that's like that. I probably want to turn on self, maybe? Okay, self helps, but it's still... clipping through. It's clipping through on like frame 12. I don't really want it to be sliding around like that. I'll give this 0.1. Okay, so it's still like trying to slide off and whatnot. I don't think that helps. So, it's probably something to do with the collision here. Kill particles, so I don't need the particles here. Amount of dampening during collision. I'm gonna say probably set this to like 0.1. Maybe that's what's caused. Nope. In fact, it really does not like it when I mess about there, huh? So, Cloth collision acts with respect to the collider normals. Cloth collision and impulses act in the direction of the collider normals, more reliable in some cases. Let's try it. I mean, there's a marked difference, and to be fair, I'd argue that's slightly better, but I wonder what the combination is here that's breaking this. Compression, tension. I'm gonna put this up to like 40. It's still clipping through. So, vertex mass is fine, speed modifier is fine, air viscosity, bending model. Linear springs is not going to help here, pressure is not going to help here. So I'm going to say maybe setting this up to be slightly better, like slightly larger would probably be best. Except it still doesn't really do anything, it just collapses in. Wait a minute, did I not set that to be 0.1? Oh, Blender does not like that. Oh, it's because it's self-collisions, you dipshit. Let's set this to 0.5 then. Oh, it does not like it when I do that. Okay. Let's set that back to the way it was. Yeah, for whatever reason, it just turns into a glitchy mess. Basically, the moment it hits this here. Like, the top is fine, but for whatever reason... and yes, they have themes for different objects, memes, and characters, and no, they're not preset potions with the themes, they are themes made by the community, and some are worth quite a bit more when applied to valuable dragons. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna set this up to 3 and see if it fixes things. Okay, it seems to break slightly less. Although this thing definitely needs more friction if I want it to stay in place. So give this 10 friction here. Yeah, I don't know why it would want to break like that. It might have something to do with these, like, holes here. So if I... P selection. And I remove the collisions from this here. So this one here should still act as normal. Okay, yeah, it's not really fixing anything in this case. I'm stumped, chat. I don't know why it's breaking. Physics. Glitching out on slopes. Okay, cloth simulation keeps jittering and flying away. Thickness outer. So if I set this to 0, what does this do? Okay, yeah, it's just still breaking. 0.02 rather. So I'm not sure what this thing's deal is. Maybe it needs to be larger, perhaps? I'm gonna scale this up a bit. Okay, it really doesn't want to play ball, huh, chat? So what do you expect me to do here? So I set this any lower, it's not really going to work out. It's just going to clip into... let's see. Cloth. Cloth is its clipping. Cloth simulations produced by way of calculating how the points will move over a number of discrete steps. If the steps are too large and the cloth is moving quickly, then it's possible for the cloth to move through a surface before it can be stopped. This is what is occurring in this situation. Once the vertex has moved below the surface of a mesh, it can become trapped, unable to break through the surface. So... cloth steps need to be increased. Let's see. I'm going to set this to 5. It's probably going to piss off my computer, but I'm going to swing. Okay, that works a bit better. So I'm going to do something a little bit more unorthodox. I'm going to scale this up a bit. Maybe it just doesn't have the required thickness for this task. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to say 10. Okay, it's like almost working. So if I thicken this out more... Okay, chat, we finally got it. At long last, we finally got this stupid thing to work. Good lord, I didn't think I'd have to set it so high. Okay, so... I'm going to... edit mode... Actually, no. Oh, crap. There we go. So I'm going to convert to mesh. So that will get rid of the physics. I'm going to get rid of the collision here. And then Alt S and just scale this back down to what I wanted it to be initially. And then I can just grab this and move it downwards. There we go. Although, to be fair, the cloth could have moved down just a smidge. But that's fine. Alright, now, shade smooth. Yeah, only issues here now is I need to deal with this lot. In fact, I'm actually going to undo this a little bit, chat. I'm just going to go back to the point where I was doing the simulation. So I need to set the self-collision. Now my computer is going to be very upset with me doing this. However, it should fix a lot of things. Okay, it's not quite doing what I want it to. So I want it to... 0.1 maybe. Actually, that's still too much. 0.05? Yeah, that should be sufficient. Ooh, my computer is chugging at this point. Alright, so I'm going to have to force the simulation movement. Except it won't actually force anything up until the point where I play it again. Just continue playing and hope for the best. Yeah, my computer is not happy. I can hear the fan on it already. This is chugging on at frames, like frames per second, not frames per minute. Okay, I'm going to set this down to be like 0.2 instead. Okay, now we're getting like 3 frames a second. That's fine. And it's still clipping in upon itself. Why is it still clipping? I did not ask for clipping. I asked you to just do what I wanted you to. Okay? Like, is it really necessary to annoy me like this? Actually, come to think of it, do I even really need the cloth simulation? I could have just, like... To be fair, the cloth simulation makes it look better, I think. The only issue is that this thing seems hell-bent upon just... Actually, there is a possible way I can fix this. Stop this at, like, frame 100. So that should be sufficient. I'm going to... convert to mesh. And now I'm actually going to go into sculpt mode. And I'm going to use the smooth brush to just smooth this out a bit so it's no longer clipping upon itself. In case anyone's wondering what the sculpt mode is good for, it's good for just about anything, really. Okay, so that should be good. Now, the real one is trying to get this to work. So, I'm looking at this now, and there's like a lot of topology there, but what I can do is I can actually do something. And this is under generate, but this does the exact opposite of generate. I'm going to unsubdivide this. So I'm going to unsubdivide it by probably... Actually, no, unsubdivision doesn't seem to work here. So I'm going to collapse. Now what this does is that it takes the mesh and it essentially removes as much topology as it can while still keeping the shape of the object. So I'm going to set it to around... So I want to keep this as minimal as possible. Let's have a look at around about 70. So see how it's actually just kept the same shape, but it's essentially just like, it's just acting as it would this way. So if I shade this smooth, and I do this, like, yeah, there's a few issues here and there, but like those are fixable. I'm gonna go 0.01. That should be sufficient, I think. If I look at this through here... Actually, this might be a bad idea, now that I look at this. Because, like, the cloth simulation on the other one was fine, but this one just kind of looks rancid. I'll do my best to fix it, though. So, edit mode. Grab all of these. Actually, I'm just going to grab from here. Control X. Ah, okay, that's going to be a problem. Sorry again, chat. I know my sneezes can be a little bit violent for the microphone. Okay, get rid of those. Yep. grab these ones here, because these are probably unnecessary too. Yep. Control X and just combine these together. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this lot here, honestly. I might have to have a rethink of this idea off stream, because it works with this one here, but it definitely doesn't work with this. Anyway, I'm going to save this, and going to end off the stream here. Alright, Twitch side. Do I have anyone for you to raid tonight? It does not appear that I do. So I shall leave off like this. Yeah, like, if I wanted to get this project done, quote-unquote, on time, I'd have to work on it a considerable amount off-stream, and I do not have the hours in a day to do so. Bye-bye, see you later, Foxy. Anyway, I shall see y'all tomorrow.